Alright, so I said I was going to make this quite a while ago, so just now getting around to it, but gonna have the runs that we made the other day at Test and Tune follow up to this, but I know there's going to be a bunch of people that ask what we've done to the motor, what we're running wheels and tires. I feel like we get these questions all the time, so I figure I will just make a little clip to put before the runs here, and we'll kind of go over that stuff right now. So as far as the frame setup, it's a Megamoto 212 Pro roller. So we got the roller frame from Go Power Sports, and then we've modified it quite a bit. On this side it doesn't look like that because we didn't actually touch the frame on this side, but I'll show the other side here in a second. And we cut and we clearanced the frame for the torque converter so that we weren't rubbing the driven pulley. And so again, we'll get to that here in a second. But as far as the fuel tank, we got just a little tiny fuel tank. I didn't want to put anything huge on there because again, we're running it for a few seconds down the drag strip, so we don't need to carry a ton of fuel, and we don't want to add any additional weight that we don't need to. But it does have the hydraulic brake setup that comes from the roller kit. So again, nothing new there. Again, drilled rotors that come in the kit. The rear wheel is the same. It's an 8-inch wheel, comes in the kit, but that is a junior dragster tire. So that's a Hoosier 18 by 8 by 8. So you can see there, I think. So yeah, so junior dragster tire. I have a little teeny tiny battery down here that we have running our electric start. And then a 34 mil carb UNI filter. We have a Go Power Sports catch can. We have the NR Racing valve cover. So we've got that venting to our catch can there. We have an ARC top plate. We've got OMB motor mount down here, so we can shift it around. Initially, getting the fitment right is kind of how we got that to work out, where we could still use the standard key switch there, which I'm debating about maybe removing that and just going to like a standard motorcycle off on key switch. So might do that later on, we'll see. Anyway, did swap out the spark plug, so we've got an NGK cap. And then as far as the internals go, we have a 308 cam, 55-pound dual valve springs. We have billet rod, billet flywheel, both from ARC. Again, still running the electric start on this. You could pull start it easy enough. Matter of fact, when I was running in the Minibike races that they were having, you had to have pull start. So I had to take off the electric start motor, the key switch box, to be eligible for the racing. So, but again, if I'm going to test and tune, it's just easier to flip the key, and so I just keep the electric start on. But we've got a thinner head gasket, a little bit thinner head gasket. We do have a big port head. So the head, the exhaust, and intake ports have been opened up quite a bit. So different style head. Originally, the Duromax head has like a weird exhaust flange. I'm not sure why, but it's like the only one I've seen like that. So as far as the exhaust, like actually, we'll go, I'll show you the exhaust. Some other projects over there. If there's any interest, we might do a look at that flathead. Got our Honda CX500 project here that we're working on as well. But this is the exhaust that I originally had made for the bike. So you'll see it's got a weird oval. So if I can get out of the light, there we go. That's a little bit better. So it's got a weird oval opening, which is much bigger than like your standard GX390 or Predator 420 exhaust. Just really strange. And I've got the head over there somewhere, but I'm not going to dig it out. But either way, it's a really weird deal. So going to that Honda GX390 head with the bigger intake and exhaust ports was much better. So that was a good move. And then we could just use a regular exhaust. And then I cut it up a little bit and try to make it fit the frame a little bit better. Just added our headlight. Oh, I guess front wheel is a Kenda KD1 tire, which is used on like Groms, Z125s. And this is actually a 2020 Honda Grom front wheel. Ironically, the bearings and the spacers didn't really need to change anything. Popped the wheel right on. I got the wheel and then had the tire mounted, and yeah, just found the right combination of spacers. And again, the axle opening was the exact same as what comes with the Megamoto 212 Pro frame kit. So that we didn't have to change anything for that, which was nice. Literally just took the old wheel out and we were able to pop the new wheel in. Sweet LED headlight. So kind of get a picture of that. Have an off-on switch. I just got this wired up yesterday, so our off-on switch here for our headlight. That's what these wires are here. So you have to have a relay switch, which is what this little box is here. So it's hardwired to the battery. And then we've got the wiring loom, which kind of comes down here. I got to tidy this up. But that way, again, when it gets a little bit later in the evening at the drag strip, still have some light there. And I've got this coupling down here, which would allow us to run a taillight. I have a CBR 1000RR tinted taillight that I might actually fab up and put on there, so that way we can run headlight and taillight. But that headlight's super sick. Choice City Moto hooked me up with that headlight, and I'll put a link in the video. So it's just a standard motorcycle headlight, but it's got a high beam, DRLs, and then low beam. But I actually am running the DRLs and the low beam together, so I just ran those. I just connected those wires together to run them at the same time, because I don't have the switch is just on off. Like if you can see, it's just an on off switch, and the button actually lights up, which is kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, so to get them to work, I had to run them together because I don't have, again, a high or a low beam, or and the way that the key box works, the key on power doesn't supply power to the, like I couldn't just turn it on so that when you key on, the DRLs would come on and then they'd be off. So they're either always on or they're always off. So I had to just run them that way. But I might look at like a actual motorcycle style headlight switch, and then I can take advantage of the DRLs and then the high and low beam as well. But for now, that works. It's fine. So over here, 40 series torque converter kit. So again, this is a Go Power Sports kit. You can see the frame here. So this is where we cut it, and then we actually put a curve in there to actually allow for the driven pulley to fit in there without rubbing. So even when the belt's all the way at the top, and again, the belt's got a little bit of wear because we've been beating the hell out of it, but yeah, anyway, but that's as far as fitment goes. But this was the big piece as far as fabbing up the frame. And then I think what we're probably going to end up doing is cutting the foot pegs here and then like welding them back here, so you can get a little bit more aggressive position riding when you're on the strip. So it's kind of awkward, especially if I put the cover on here. There's not really much room for your feet. But driven pulley is, I popped that driven pulley off. So that driven pulley has upgraded springs and weights in it. So we did medium springs and medium weights. So we've got about I think the stall is set right now at about 2200, 2300, something like that. So it's right probably where we want it to be as far as like hooking up and getting power to the ground. So I think it's dialed in as like right where we want it. But one of the issues that we had when we ran this last go, and I can't really show it on here, but this nylon locking nut, actually, because I've took this torque converter off and on like a million times probably, the nylon locking nut will back off after a few runs. And ironically I didn't take many tools with me, so I didn't have a way to tighten this, but this had backed all the way off. So this rear pulley was like moving around on our last run. So our best run was actually our first run, but that's because our pulley was already backing off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole, put a cotter pin in there, so that pulley doesn't move and this nut will stay in place. Just to fix that, that'll be easy enough. The other thing that was changed, I had a 52 tooth rear sprocket, which is the sprocket that came with the kit, and we just changed that. So I had this split sprocket hub. I had gotten this a while ago for a different project and then never ended up using it, so I had it sitting around. And then I ordered a 44 tooth sprocket, took a couple links out of the chain, and it feels like it hooks just as good as it did with the 52. Like as far as the torque and the takeoff feels pretty much the same. I can't say that I think it feels like I'm losing any torque down low, but I'm hoping to get a little bit better top speed, because we're topping out. We're hitting our max like speed and gear at like 52. Our runs, and you'll see on the slips at the end of this, but our runs were pretty consistent, the 3 runs that we got in. And 52, right at 52 was a max speed. Right at like, if you see like the 1/8 mile time and then the 1/4 mile time, that we picked up like 2 miles per hour between the two, and that's just because we're like exhausting our gearing. So I have a 13 tooth up front, which is different, right? So they come with 10 tooth. So I have a 10 tooth torque converter sprocket, but we swapped that for a 13 tooth and then the 44 tooth, hoping to get a little bit better top speed, but then also keep a pretty good amount of torque and response right off the line. So I'm hoping that that combination is good, but we'll see. I haven't ran this setup yet. It was 13, 52 at our last run. Exhaust is kind of janky. I want to change this, but cut the pipe here and you can see the weld's not great, but and then we just curved it underneath. But what I want to do is take this pipe, curve it back in, and then come straight out and then mount it right below the fuel tank here. So basically they put a muffler on here and it'd be like right here coming out the back. So maybe look at doing that this winter, but for now that pipe works fine. So but tachometer, got a Tusk digital tach, which again just wrapped around the plug there. Kill switch, so I got a kill switch up here, and then just the key switch, of course, and then again that light bracket, which that you could see that or actually you can't. There you go. That screw that holds that on there, that snugs that up. This is just like an Amazon special, right? It's like 23 bucks. But when I went to tighten that up, that that little Allen that goes in there literally just sheared right off. So not great, but it's on there for now. I mean, it works. I'll replace that probably later, but yeah, so that's it. So counterbalance shaft is removed. I took the counterbalance shaft out, so that is no longer in there. Trying to think of any other, as far as the motor goes. Again, rod, it's got a flat top piston. I don't think I mentioned that. I took the original piston out, which was dished, so that piston was removed. I got a flat top piston with, you know, fresh rings. Again, ARC rod. You could even see, you can kind of tell, kind of in the light here, I think you could tell that the fins on here look different than the fins here, because that's a different head. Like I said, big port head, which is nice. Ever since I swapped to the big port head and then was able to go to a standard style GX390 Predator 420 header, just opened up a lot of better exhaust options, I think, because that, like I said, that Duromax header is just weird. I don't know why they made that flange like that. It was super bizarre. But and then the frame's powder coated. The black kind of, you can see it's like a sparkly. It's called a Volkswagen Black, if I remember right, was the color for the powder. So yeah, frame's powder coated. Wheels are just, again, just black. It's just painted. Those are stock, nothing special. And then the tank was powder coated blue, to match kind of the Duromax cover there. But yeah, so hopefully that answers most of the questions. I just have the stock style seat. I'm actually going to make a seat pan, I think, just a sheet metal seat pan to go in there, because that stock seat's kind of, it's not uncomfortable, I guess, but it's not great as far as like seating position, as far as running. And then if we move the pegs back, I'll want something a little bit different. So I think we'll end up just making our own this winter. So, but anyway, kind of an overview of the bike, and then like I said, we'll get to the video here with the runs, and then you'll see the slips at the end. And then questions, again, comments, feedback's always positive. Appreciate any positive criticisms. Always trying to improve. So yeah, let me know what you think.